Hi everybody, welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Today is April 9th and I'm so excited to film my first episode. So I wanted to start off the show with a question of the day, and today's question is, how do you like your coffee? So let me know down below. And I like my coffee with caramel. So when I'm at home, I have the little pods for my Keurig and I use the Starbucks caramel one. And I have the International Delight, I think it's called, coffee creamer. So those are my two favorite combo. When I'm going out to Starbucks, I like an iced caramel macchiato, and at Dunkin' Donuts I like a iced caramel coffee. So you can see the caramel obsession with my coffee. After the question of the day, I wanted to go into a piece of good news, and I found this good news from goodnewsnetwork.org, and there's a 21-year-old girl named Ashley, and she lives in Kentucky. She was making free masks for the hearing impaired. She made a clear strip on the mouth so that you can still see what somebody is saying if you have to read lips and you're hard of hearing and stuff like that. So I thought that was really nice, and she was only 21 and they were free masks, so she wasn't selling them, she was just giving them away to people in need. So I thought that was really nice. Although the news is covering so much bad that's going on right now, there's still a little bit of good left in the world too. So if you want to see some good news, you can go to the Good News Network because they had tons of stuff on there, but that was one of my favorites for today. And after the piece of good news, I want to talk about the topic today, which is my kitten. Yesterday, Curtis and I decided to adopt a kitten, and he is the cutest thing ever, but I just wanted to tell the story about it because if you know that I was fostering said kitten and now he is my kitten. Let's talk about how that happened. About 3 weeks ago, I decided that I wanted to foster a kitten because I know that all the shelters were starting to close and the kittens really didn't have anywhere to go. And I saw that my friend Alyssa fostered kittens as well, so I just asked her like a bunch of questions and she like sent me in the right direction and she was really helpful. So as I was doing research for all the different shelters around, I came across one and I was messaging back and forth with this person, and she was so nice. She was just asking me about my experience with pets and cats. All types of stuff like that. Am I going to be home? Relevant cat information. So this lady, let's call her Jill. After we're done emailing, Jill was like, okay, I'm gonna bring over Nabi for you. So Jill dropped off Nabi. His name is Nabi because he has a little tail. I didn't name him, they did, but I love it now. Like when I tell people his name's Nabi, they're like, it's what? But it just fits him and it's perfect. But anyway, so she drops him off with like cat litter, food, toys, all of that stuff. So as the days go by, lots of my friends and family who found out I was fostering a cat were like, oh, you're gonna keep him, blah blah blah. And I just had this mindset of like, no, I'm gonna find him a good home and he is gonna be so loved and all of that. So there wasn't really that attachment for like the first week because I just had in my head that he is going to go to a good home and like we're doing a nice thing. This being said, I was at home all the time because like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before that, the college program was suspended. So the days go on and I was added into the group chat like with all the foster parents, and everyone is so nice and supportive, and like they've been doing this for so long and they answer all the questions that I had. But in the chat they post when kittens are adopted, so they'll be like, oh, so-and-so just got adopted, like how cute, or this person found his new home, and everyone's like, oh, congrats, like it's so cute. So then I was like, why is Nabi not getting adopted? Like this was happening multiple times a day. Like cats were getting adopted multiple times a day, but he wasn't even being mentioned. I'm like, is there something that I should do? Am I doing something wrong? I don't know. So they told me, send some pictures of him, make a cute bio, and I was like, okay. So I sent them pictures and I wrote that he loves to play with a shoelace, his favorite place to sit is in the sink and on the windowsill, he loves the sun, all of that stuff. It was just really cute. Literally the day after that, I had a text message that said, somebody wants to meet Nabi, can you drop him off here? And that was from Jill. Now this was going to be on the Sunday, and Curtis had to work all day Sunday, so I didn't have a car to take him, and somebody was coming to pick him up in that case. let's call her Susan. So Susan was going to pick up Nabi and take him to his new home. So Susan gets here and the vibe was off. Susan was walking around like looking for Nabi. She had been fostering cats for 6 years, so I feel like when you've been doing it for that long, maybe, see, I want to say like if you've been doing it for that long, the process just becomes like numb, but like they're kittens and they're cute, I don't know. So I was like looking for him. He ran under the bed, of course, when they see like the carrier and all that stuff. She's like, oh, you have a nice apartment, like looking around and stuff. This is not turning into a burglary video. Yeah, so Nabi is under the bed and I can't get him out, the poor baby. So I grabbed his treats and I was trying to lure him out of the bed and I felt horrible and I was like, I'm gonna cry, like I just know what's happening. I put the treats down and so he would get closer and closer to me, and then he doesn't like being picked up. I don't know if all kittens don't like being picked up. I have no other experience with kittens. He's my first one. So he just doesn't like being held. So I grab him and he's trying to get away and she is like yelling at me like scruff, scruff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So she like grabs him by the neck, you know, like how their moms pick them up, and she said that's called the scruff. So I was like, okay. Anyway, so she puts him in the crate. I'm sorry, carrier. Crate sounds like mean. So she puts him in the carrier and she's like, okay, say goodbye, and I'm like crying. I'm not sobbing, but I could not hold it together. I was trying really hard. And I'm like, okay, bye, Nabi. And she was just like, okay, bye, thanks. And I'm like, well, thank you. I was trying to be nice. I'm like, thanks for picking him up. And I was like, I can't do this. So I had my little moment. I wasn't sobbing. I was just emotional. But I was like, I know that I did a good thing. I texted my friend Alyssa, and again, she was so nice about it. She's like, you just saved a life. Like, that is so great. You should be so proud of yourself, you know, like get a treat, da da da. And I'm like, oh, you're so nice. She really helped turn my mood around in a way. I was like, okay, he's gonna go to a good home. I'm so happy for him and all that stuff. That was at like 10:30, and I texted Susie. Did we call her Susie or Susan? I think Susie. I texted Susie and I'm like, hey, when you get there, let me know how he is, blah, blah, blah. Left on red. So I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, what if somebody just came to take Nabi and is not taking him to a new home? And then I was like, oh my god, what is happening? And then Jill texted me and was like, hey, the new adopter mom, the lady didn't want Nabi, she wanted a different kitten or something. I'll put the text in because it was really confusing to read. So this is the exact screenshot. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, he's coming back to you, you know, she doesn't know if she wants him, is what she said. And I'm like, doesn't know, how do you not know? Like, this is in my head, but as I just responded, okay, because I was like processing it, and I'm like, how does she not know if she wants him? Like, I don't understand. I told Jill I can't give him away again, like that's gonna be horrible. And I'm like instantly like, this isn't fair. Why would somebody see him and maybe they want him, or they aren't sure that they want him? They might go with somebody else. You know, like when you meet a pet, when you get a pet, like if you go to the shelters or if you go to adopt, they kind of like pick you in a way, if that makes sense, if you've ever adopted or anything. And it feels right when you have them. It's not kind of like a, well, he's okay, but I don't really know. Like, why would you want to give someone the option to adopt them if they're like, yeah, I don't know. When I'm like, I love him, I want him, you know, like that was like a switch in my head, and I was just like, I can't give him up a second time because the first time was not fun. And I know that some people, he's probably just a cat, but to me, I felt like saying he's not a second option. He's like the only option. So Jill texted me and said, hey, I'm on my way. Do you need anything? Meaning like food or supplies and stuff. And I said, yes, I want to adopt him. I'll give you the money, blah, blah, blah. I just want him. And so she didn't respond. So I just assumed she was driving, like totally fine. And then she texted me, I'm here. So I went to go and grab her. She came upstairs and I was like, yeah, I have to keep him. I need him. Again, Jill was really, really nice. It was only Susie who really put me off. Sorry, Susie. Jill was just telling me, you know, we just have to wait to see what the other lady says. But I was like, I really want him. And she's like, yeah, but then you can't foster and da da da. And I get it because I'm sure a lot of people, actually she told me that 8 out of 10 people who foster adopt. And she really needs foster homes right now, which I understand, but I need Nabi. He's mine. I need him. After Jill left, I called my mom and she loves Nabi to death. So I was like, let's see what she has to say. And I told her what happened with how this lady wasn't certain that she wanted him, all that stuff. And she's like, that isn't fair. And I'm like, I know. Basically, after that, I knew that the fight was on for Nabi. So I called Jill and I am just asking to keep him. That was like half an hour after she left, after she had said, no, let's wait and see what this other lady says. I just called her and I'm like, no, I need him. Like, can you get an answer now? And she was really nice about it. She's like, yeah, let me call her now and we'll see what she says. Then she called me back a few minutes later and it was so soon and I was like, oh my god. I had planned to call her again like an hour later because I didn't know it was gonna be this quick. And I was like, oh, here we go. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I just wanted to say that if she did want to adopt him, like, come and get him now because I can't handle this anymore. But when I was talking to Jill, she told me that Nabi is mine and I had a full-on moment. We popped the champagne. Nabi was happy and playing. He knew. He knows he's home. And he became ours. I am so excited of the thought that he's gonna be with us for a long time. Like, knock on wood. I mean, my dog right now is like 16, so we've had him for like 16 years, like as long as I can remember. So it's just crazy to think that Nabi could be with us for that long, like 10 or 15 years from now. Nabi, can you come out and say hi? He's asleep, but I'll put in cute pictures of him. This is his prime sleeping time. Yeah, anywhere from like, I'd say 3 to 8 is his, that's all sleep. He never comes out, so. And it's about 6 o'clock now. So he's asleep. Yep, we are so happy to be cat parents and he is mine forever. And shouts out to Jill because she was so nice and she let me keep the litter box and the food and she didn't have to do that, so thanks, Jill. Yeah, that is the story of how Nabi is our kitten now. And I'm so happy because he's the cutest thing ever. So to close out the show, I want to talk about something I am thankful for today, which is that Curtis has a job still. He was so lucky to have gotten a job at Publix like a week before everything just like flipped upside down, because I have tried applying to Publix and Target and places like that. And although the news was saying like, oh, they're hiring, da da da, I tried and it didn't work. And it was just for like a bagging position or like a cashier position. You know, I have been working in retail with a cash register since I was like 15. So, I don't know, I thought I had a good shot. But, no, I don't really think that anywhere is hiring anymore. So that was a while ago though. That was when I first lost my job. I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm just so glad he has a job that he actually enjoys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Let's Talk. I can only hope that it's gonna get better from here. Being my first episode, I was trying to like explain things, how it's gonna go. This is just the idea I have so far, so I don't know, I'll see where it goes. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you on Monday.